Right, so recently they changed the game in Mortal Kombat 1. They updated it with a hotfix. Had a few changes here and there. So in this video, I'm going to go over like whether the game's changed for better or for worse, who's the winner, who's the loser, just generally what my thoughts on the patch. So when people ask me, "Oh, Foxy, what did this patch do?" I think ultimately the patch is a bit of a nothing burger for the most part, and that was my initial reaction. It's going to have changed a little bit down the line, but that was my initial reaction because Homelander, he's still the same. I think he's gone from being the best character in the game to the best character in the game. They've given him the typical slap on the wrist, the most typical slap on the wrist nerf they could give, which is like damage reduction by reducing his combos by like a couple of percent here and there. So he's the same character, same degenerate sort of game plan going on. T1000, a little bit different. His 4-3 string, you know, the Baraka-like string he's got, that's lost the overhead in it. And then initially they were all crying, like, "Oh, our string, we got no mix-up." But the thing is, the character has literally the same mix-up in every other string. It's just that you can't do it off of the string that is reaching in like ridiculous distances. I think there'll be less T1000 players going about because you won't be able to just do 4-3, 4-3 and to win anymore. But he still will be able to blend you. He's probably not going to be like a super top tier character. Let's have a look. So we got characters like Cyrax, right? So people were mad about Cyrax. What they did for Cyrax is they nerfed her meter gain when she throws a bomb. And this is, from what I tested, is specifically a nerf Cyrax Serena. But you know how I watched my casino videos, I was looping people, Cyrax Serena, putting them in the net, the 2-bar net, using Serena to regain that one lost bar, and doing two bar loops basically. That doesn't exist as an indefinite loop anymore, and that's because the bomb is juicing less meter every time she throws it. It was actually the bomb and the meter gain thing that were allowing this loop to exist, so that's gone now. Cyrax also has the Reiko projectile property, where if she throws it and it clashes with another projectile, other projectile just goes through it and she wins. I mean, she loses trade, but she can't win trades anymore. I don't think this is really that important for her because the best assists for Cyrax are Madam Bo and Sector, in my opinion, and neither of those depend on throwing the goop or just winning that trade in general. It was a nice thing to have, but it's not a necessary thing to have for the character. Let's see. Sector got a similar sort of nerf, meter gain nerf. So like when she shoots the air missile, she's not gaining bar unless the missile is blocked or hit. So that just means that you got to be accurate as the Sector player. That's fair enough. And her grenade now does 5% instead of 6, which is, again, that's a bit of a nothing burger nerf. English. I'm English here. Yeah, so she's essentially the same character. They nerfed a bit of damage on the Armor Motaro stuff, but again, there's other assists that she plays with. They're just untouched. So Sector, same character. Let's see. We've got Quan Chi, right? I think he might be one of the biggest winners of the patch, but I don't think he's winning to such a degree where it's like gonna skyrocket him up the tier list. He's still got his fundamental weaknesses like no poke, gaps in most of his strings, and no health. But they did give him an overhead, which is only -12. Super unsafe on up block, but it's a hard read. But it's 17 frames. He's also got a 16 frame low. So now this character is going to put you in an armor portal and he's going to overhead you till you stand up, and then you're going to stand up into his low. So he's got a 50-50 behind armor now, which is degenerate, but obviously he's still going to get mauled by characters like Johnny. See, we got Shang Tsung, who is the most nothing burger buffs you could think of. His 2-4 is young, is now +1. It's like his 2-4 is old. Who cares? Like, you're giving him one singular plus frame, nice. And his young mid string is now special cancelable. Again, who cares? It changes effectively nothing about him. Henshi got a bit of an unusual buff. He got back to in his Sento stance is now a safe overhead, only unsafe to up block. But when he's without the spirit, he can just overhead you constantly. That's pretty good for him. Another buff they gave out for all the Liu Kang players out there is it is 1-2 is now 1-2-1 is now special cancelable. So that gives him an auto shimmy. So if people are teching your throws, he's got now a real way to beat the throw tech, and it's confirmable into damage, which is it's a nice buff for Liu. It's the kind of buff that I think he should have got, but again, it's sort of like the Quan thing where I don't think it's really gonna like shoot him up. It's just a good buff for the way his character works. So yeah, he's gonna be chilling. Li Mei got kind of a nothing burger buff. She got her lantern when she shoots it out of the air. That's an overhead. Don't really see at the minute. I had ideas for it, but I don't think it's that effective at the minute. Maybe someone in the future is going to find something cheap with it. Don't see it at the minute. All right, so Havoc is a huge change this pack. So his back 2-2-4 string, the one that ends in the low off of the long reach in mid, unsafe now. So if he goes to the low or the throw at the end of that string, theoretically both of these are unsafe for him to do, could get launched. You're gonna need to use an assist to cover them. But this was the Havoc players are not happy about this. They're not happy. They're crying. It was brilliant. But yeah, I think they are sort of justified a little bit in their woe, because why is Homelander allowed to just keep his game plan, but Havoc gets his like butchered? It doesn't really make any sense. Havoc's gone through a bit of a weird roller coaster in this game. He started as the worst, went to one of the best, and now he's probably going to end up somewhere in the middle. So you Havoc players can carry on with your old downplaying ways. You've got the archives, you know what you're doing. So the changes to Rain, ones that I'm a bit split on, is Water Beam starts up 3 frames faster, so his cancels have now become better as a result of it. And some people are saying, oh yeah, Rain's like super top tier now, but in my opinion, he's effectively the same character. He's got a couple of new conversions, but he's effectively the same character. Having better cancels there ain't gonna make him better in his bad matchups. You know, it's that sort of buff. Like his strength got better, but it didn't address any of his weaknesses. But I think Rain, while it's nice to have stronger like frame traps, pressure, it's not saving him from his actual nightmares. So yeah, Rain players, rightfully so, they're glad they got some new pressure they can play around with. So yeah, he's all right. Now there's a bunch of other sort of changes in the pack, like Astra does more damage when she's got her curses on you. Omni-Man, his forward 3 is safe. Mostly like it's sort of like the Shang Tsung and Li Mei changes. They're not going to change the character. They're not really changing the way the game is played. It's effectively nothing burger changes. I mean, the Omni-Man thing might be all right to have a safe forward 3, but again, who really cares? You can't really do too much like off of it safely still and confirm at the same time. So there's like, yeah, it's safe, but you can't do things off of it without becoming unsafe. So it's a double-edged sword at that point. All right, so now what I think is probably the biggest change in this patch is the fact that they brought Stryker back. They brought him back. I don't understand why they bring just him back though. So his grenades recharge faster. So not only is he like how the old Stryker used to be, it's actually better because he's got the gun as well. So Stryker meta is here. You go into ranked, you're already seeing it. People are pulling out Stryker, throwing you, launching you with the grenades, doing everything unsafe into Stryker. He's back. He's doing Stryker stuff again. And I think it's just a bit of a weird one because last final combat, right, they accidentally reverted Cyrax. If any of you remember, they accidentally reverted Cyrax. Helicopter move, the horizontal one, lost half a bar. Some people were moaning about it, other people were happy about it. I don't understand. If you're going to revert Stryker, why would you not just revert Cyrax, Lao, Chameleon, all these other ones at the same time? Right? It doesn't make so much sense. Why is Stryker the only one in this case that does this? Let's see. Tremor, the nerf that they gave him. So everybody was using Tremor, right? Tremor this, Tremor that. Shove Tremor on it. That was like the meme, and shove it with Tremor. And what he does now is when you hit Tremor as he's changing stance, he's locked out for 10 seconds. And I think this is noticeable. This is actually a noticeable change, and it doesn't hurt what Tremor is supposed to be and or do. So I think that's a pretty good change. That's less of a nothing burger change out of all of these. I think that and the Stryker, they're pretty significant. The other assists that got changed are ones like Sub-Zero, Darius, and Frost. They give them real invincible attack when you get off the ground. So they're like, I think it was more than doubled the amount of invincibility frames that they have. Again, strange one. Why? There needs to be some sort of uniform. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I think that it would probably be good for moves that are supposed to be like reversals or invincible get-ups. Should just all be like that. Like, for example, some of these you can hit in weird sort of spots. Like Janet Nut Punch, for example. That's a good one that you can sometimes just hit people out of. So like, why wouldn't you give that same treatment to that move? Because it's clearly intended to be that way. But only if your opponent doesn't time something correctly. It's sort of leaving a weakness to the move that doesn't need to be there, I think. Right, so in conclusion, I think the patch is mostly just keeping the game the same. It's nerfed a couple of the top tiers. T1K is going to be a bit different. Havoc's going to be a bit different. Homelander is exactly the same. Dyrax and the Sector, basically exactly the same. Slightly different than both of them. And the meta of the game, like, you're going to hop online and you're going to be playing the same game that you were playing in the last patch. Ultimately, that's what it's going to be. And with a sprinkle of Striker in every... Okay, I say a sprinkle, it's probably Striker everywhere by the time this video goes out. There was a lot of Striker in Combat League yesterday, so I think, yeah, the game's mostly going to be the same. You're just going to be getting a window back into the previous patch when everyone was doing everything into Striker. So, yeah, patch, mostly nothing going on. A few big bits and pieces going on here and there. Yeah, let me know what you think. Good patch, bad patch, what do you reckon?